SoFi stock in the last week or so has seen a really interesting trend. We have seen the stock on Friday finishing up by 2.06%, which arguably is quite significant because it brings us up to what is arguably a very key level for the stock going into this next week. I think we're at a very significant point here, and there's a lot to play for in the upcoming couple of days. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my personal thoughts and opinions based on what we are seeing here both on the charts and behind the scenes with the fundamentals of the company. If this sounds like an interesting video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe, and I'll be giving you guys more updates based on what we are seeing. Again, remember, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, but we must jump in. Now, the first thing that I want to look at here is actually something which is fundamental for SoFi stock. Let's close this. We can see that we are seeing Entropy Technologies LP growing their stock holdings in SoFi Technologies. If we have a look at the latest, if we can, you can see here that Entropy Technologies, I think it's called, LP has significantly increased its holdings in SoFi Technologies by 42.1%, bringing its total shares to 473,935, valued at approximately 5.51 million. In the last quarter, various hedge funds, including Brighton Jones LLC and Invesco Limited, have also adjusted their stakes in SoFi, indicating growing institutional interest, with 38.43% of the company's stock owned by institutional owners. Now, that by itself should be quite significant, right? Because big money is interested, and this article came out just a couple of days ago on the 13th, right? So this really does signify that trend isn't changing. We are still seeing big money being relatively interested in the stock and what's going on here. So looking into this a bit more, we can see that other hedge funds have also recently made changes to their positions in the company. Vanguard Group boosted its position in shares of SoFi Technologies by 1.1% during the first quarter. Vanguard Group is now an owner of 99.4 million shares of the company, worth over $1 billion. So after purchasing this 100 or 1.13 million shares during the period, we've also seen CMG Global Holdings boosting their shares of SoFi Technologies by 77.8% during the first quarter. They now hold 140,000 shares of the company's stock. We can see so many companies, right? We can see Nicholas Wealth LLC purchasing a new position in SoFi Technologies in the first quarter, valued at approximately $993,000. We're seeing Sierra Summit Advisors also purchasing. So many companies to report on, right? And this is not necessarily an insignificant value of money for any of these businesses. At the same time, we are seeing larger and larger stakes being put into the company and more promising things potentially ahead. And this is all very significant, right? Because big money is holding. Big money often puts money where they obviously want to aim to make money. At the same time, they're often a lot more stable, and this could also be something to consider. Now, going back to the charts more specifically, well, you guys will know that since about late July, I should say, we've seen SoFi stock on this really interesting trend, right? Initially, some major growth bringing us up to where we are right now. However, in the past, one thing that we've struggled to get past is actually the levels that we're at now. We have only broken above this range here, which I'm going to call around 23.79, really once or twice before. We had one candle above it here and one candle above it here, or arguably this one too. At the same time, none of those three candles really had the ability to hold up. Now, a few great things are coming into play here. A previous level of resistance that we are seeing roughly around $23, we're seeing that as a resistance here and arguably here, that is now coming in as a support. And in the last couple of days, we found that support in that range, right about $23, which is absolutely fantastic. And now we're coming up to breaking past potentially a very significant level if we are able to maintain this. And that's going to be the 23.78 range. The reason why that's so difficult is because we've just not been able to maintain above it really for any prolonged period of time at any point in recent history. Now, of course, yes, we are seeing this major run. At the same time, where do we go from here, right? Well, we want to see this one obviously go up. But to make this happen, in my eyes, a few things are going to need to be able to change, right? We want to break above this mark again. We want to remain above this mark. And that's going to basically, in my opinion, mean that we're going to want to see a couple of green days. Now, zooming into the 5-day chart here, there is some good news, and that is that the growth that we are seeing specifically in the last day is actually relatively stable. And after such a rise, this is the kind of thing that I personally like to see. Just a slow upwards trend, bringing us up to where we want to be and putting us on a good stead for next week. So with that being said, I think what we need to see hold up and break is that 23.80 mark. We want to see a break above that onto $24. If we can finish next week above $24, I think that we're in a relatively strong position. However, that is not going to be as easy as it may seem. Again, we've seen that break above it before, but going above 23.70 and then onto 24.50 and above that is going to be the ideal positive scenario for this week. If we're not able to do that, I really think that we could be looking to go to the 23.50 range, possibly even lower, and retest these levels that we've seen as a previous support around 23.10. Now, if we can see that hold up, that's actually not that bad on the downside, right? And I say this all the time. I'm not here to shape your opinion. I'm here to give you both sides based on how I see it. So if we can see this one hold up around $23, that's not that bad, right? That's not actually that bad all considered. But the question is, do we see that? Or do we see this one potentially go to another level of support even lower, which is going to be around 22.73? Now, we've seen this hold up here, here, and also here, so that is a possibility on the downside. But after such a strong day, and after such a strong period in the last week, I really want to see this level around 23.50, 23.60 hold up. That would be absolutely perfect in my opinion, based on what we're seeing at the moment. So yeah, either way guys, if we can stay in this channel, I'm pretty happy. On the very low end, I want to see this one not really dip below $23. On the high end, I'd love to see this one push above $24 and maintain that growth. But either way, I'm going to be here in the next week and I'm going to be giving you guys updates based on what we see. Again, let me know what you think is going to happen. These are just my personal thoughts. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I hope I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.